5:03 at KPEL. It is Go Acadiana with Ken Romero and Dr. John. And John, joining us on the phone this afternoon is Janet Huckabee. Good afternoon, Mrs. Huckabee. How are you today?
I am doing fine. How are you doing?
We're doing great. Now, I know being the former First Lady of Arkansas, but we have to say that you've got deep roots here in South Louisiana, being from Lake Charles, correct?
I do.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I like the mix of the Lake Charles and the Arkansas accent there. It works out real nice.
Well, that's where the boot is, you know.
Absolutely. Well, of course, here in Lafayette, you're here for a fundraiser this evening?
I'm here just campaigning on behalf of Mike, and it's just, you know, so much fun to come home and be in Louisiana, and, you know, it's nothing like being a part of my heritage. Lake Charles was named after my ancestors. Charles Sawyer, so that's family.
We see a lot of the names on the streets when we go there, and it's great to have you on with us. And I guess our first question is, how is America different from the last time the Huckabee campaign hit the trail?
Well, it's, I think, gotten a little bit harder to campaign on just one single thing. You've got to campaign, I think, a lot on foreign policy. I think it's a little worse than it was maybe in '08, and you got to remember it was '08, not just the last election, but really back in 2008 when we campaigned last. And foreign policy is a big issue, but it's not the only issue because you know, the economy's worse, and we saw that just looking at the stock market, you know, in the last couple of days. How a lot of people think it's, you know, everything depends on the stock market. People are not doing well. The people that we see in the workplace, you know, recession is definitely not over. People are hurting out there. And so I think that's worse, and we've got to help those people.
Well, you know, the thing about people not doing as well, and then we come to this point, you know, with the stock market doing what it did, you know, in the last day, plus the oil industry doing so poorly because of gas prices. It's just amazing what's going on countrywide, and I think the liberals have just taken the country just too far out, and we need somebody like Mike Huckabee to bring it back into reality, I think.
I would love to see that. And, you know, we've got a lot of good candidates running, and people are going to have to, you know, make a decision. They're going to have to do their research. And part of what I'm doing is really helping them to decide, because Mike stands for some things that nobody else is talking about, and one of those things is the fair tax. Nobody else is talking about the fair tax. And that's one thing I think that would help our economy. It eliminates the IRS. He's the only one that can eliminate. Some people say, well, I can get, you know, the tax code down to 3 pages or on a postcard. Well, it doesn't eliminate the IRS, and they're part of the problem.
Yes,
you know?
A large part of the problem as far as I'm concerned. John, did you have a question for Mrs. Huckabee?
Well, I wasn't able to join in on the pre-interview bantering. I was actually on a call with a mutual friend of ours named Alan McVeigh up in Arkansas.
Absolutely.
And Alan and I have been good friends for several years. I know y'all were real close. I'm not going to ask whether or not y'all are going to hire him as chief of staff if you take the White House. But what do you see? You know, every first lady has some sort of cause or something that she commits herself to. For Nancy Reagan, it was an anti-drug program. For Michelle Obama, it's been a diet and exercise. What do you see as your issue if y'all were able to take the White House?
Well, you know, I'd like to see where we are as a country before I did something like that, because I think that's part of, you know, what the First Lady does, is to look to see what her husband is doing and what the country needs. And I think, you know, I would want to reserve the right to see, you know, what our country is doing at the time. But if I had to decide today, there's one of several things I would work on. I think affordable housing is real important. I think if children feel like they have a safe place to go at night, and you know, that they can feel, you know, that they have a place to call home. And I've worked with Habitat for Humanity. I was building on a house last week even. I've been to several foreign countries building houses through Habitat for Humanity. I think that's something I could do. But my mom passed away just last year with Alzheimer's. We're going to spend $1.1 trillion in the year 2050 on that one disease alone. Mm-hmm. It's something we could probably eliminate if we spend a little bit of research money. Mm-hmm. I think our country is smart enough to do that. We did it with polio. I can remember standing in the National Guard Armory taking sugar cubes 3 Sundays in a row.
Yes.
And we eliminated that disease. And I think we could do it with Alzheimer's, or we probably could do it with diabetes if we just put our mind to it, because we're a smart country. But we're going to go broke on those diseases if we don't do something. That's probably something that I could focus on if I wanted to.
Well, Mrs. Huckabee, I know that you're pressed for time, so before we let you go, I guess the big question we have is what makes your husband stand out as the best candidate in this huge field of Republicans?
You don't know.
I think we know, but we want you to tell us.
We want you to tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
How much time do I have? Because I could talk all day. I've known this man for 50 years.
Okay, so besides being smart enough to marry you, besides that,
and having excellent taste,
besides having such great taste, so
truly, we've been married for 41 years, and I could go on and on, but first of all, he is the only one talking about the fair tax, which does eliminate the IRS. He's the only one willing to stand up for Social Security, which our government, took the money out of people's check. Mm-hmm. And now they're wanting to change the rules and say, no, I think we're going to not give it back, or we're going to change, the age. They can't do that. The government has failed miserably on securing the borders. You can't blame what's happening with illegal immigration on the people who are running for office today. You can't expect them to solve that problem in a 30-second answer. That problem's been going on for decades, and our government has failed miserably in securing the border. Mike says he could secure the border in 1 year. I think he needs to be given the chance to do that. And then let's see what we're going to do with all the people here. We don't even know for sure how many are here. We don't know why they're here.
Yeah.
So let's secure the border first, then find out how many are here, why they're here, and then take care of that problem. But first, secure the border. So that's 3 things that we could do.
Wow.
The other are the vets. That's a miserable failure, taking care of the people that went and served their country. We told them we would take care of them when they came back. We haven't done that. There's no excuse for not taking care of those people. Absolutely none.
That's right.
And not only should we take care of them, our military is at the lowest readiness point it's ever been since World War II. Absolutely no excuse for not being ready for anything that happens to this country. So we need to build that up.
Well, I appreciate you being with us. We've already gone overtime, and I don't want to get in bad with your people.
Yes.
But I tell you what, I'm ready to vote for Janet Huckabee.
There you go.
I'm ready.
I like that.
I can take on my people. Don't worry about that.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Ken and John. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Anytime you're in the area, please. Thank you.
All righty.
All right. Bye-bye. Wow.
Yeah, very good interview. Very good.
Very good, and it's great to, well, first off, it's like she said, it's not their first rodeo. She's been through this before, and she's got her points just all knocked out, ready to go as well. And to be honest, we led her to some places where she probably hasn't gone in very short interviews, and she did a great job.
Well, what's interesting to me is that she had more specifics about more issues than many candidates who are running.
She had more specifics than Donald Trump, who's leading all the polls.
Mm-hmm.
She did.
Tells you a little something.
Yeah. I've said this before. Donald Trump may talk the talk, but I'm not sure if he can walk that talk.
You telling me that you put Donald Trump in a debate with Miss Huckabee and he's going to come out okay? Not a chance.
I don't think so, man. I think she'd fix his hairstyle real quick like. But that was a great conversation with her, yes. And we're going to try to get Governor Huckabee on, and that takes just a little bit more time and effort, and we're going to work on that. but I'd also like to get some of the other candidates on. So we'll be in the background, get the crack research staff to do some of that.
Absolutely. They've already been given their challenge.
Yep. All right, so it's 5:14 at KPEL. It is Go Acadiana with Dr. John and Ken Romero.